Founders call. Let's go. All right. Give me a hot minute here. Still getting set up. We're actually a little early. So I am just going to sit tight for a second while people jump in. All right. What about some light in here? Woo-wee! Make sure everything's set up. Camera's good. Microphone. It's not going to happen for us. It's fine. All right. I hope that everyone is doing incredible. I'm going to share my screen and we will get into it. Okay. So, Founders Call. For those of you who are new here, I do a Founders Call every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks on a Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or currently it's Pacific Daylight Time. That is, I believe, 4 p.m. on the East Coast of the US. No idea what time it is in the Southern Hemisphere. It's, I believe, like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. But the point of this is that at the Nova House, we aim to give as many updates as we possibly can. Traditional vehicles out there, whether you're in alternative investments or whether you're in public companies, whether you're in a REIT, whether you're in a joint venture, whatever it might be, the communication is usually almost non-existent. You either get an email once a year. If you're lucky, you get an email every quarter. And even those emails every quarter are pretty standard and not very detailed. And I know that when I've gone through this before, especially as, I'll never be out of my learning journey, but particularly at the beginning of my learning journey, I wanted to know everything about my investments. And it was very hard for me not understanding what was going on and not having that communication as often as I could, because I wanted to know how things were going often. But the second one is that I wanted to learn. Like if something wasn't going right, I was curious as to why it wasn't going right. Or if something was going really well, I was curious as to why things were going really well. And I don't mean that in a way of being a really bothersome investor. I mean it in a way from a learning sense. And there's definitely two kinds. There's someone that wants to learn and there's someone that just wants to be a pest. Trust me, I understand the difference. So this Founders Call is for people that are wanting more updates and they want a full in-depth. They want to see the whole picture. They want the ride. And that's what that is. And if that's not for you, please close this down and you can wait for your quarterly or annual email or whatever it might be that you have. And over communication isn't for everyone. So how does this work? We're going to go over 6 things today. I'm going to go over general updates, property development, what's happened over the last 14 days, the next 14 days, thought of the week, which you'll be excited about, and opportunities. And my goal here is that you have, I've got 3 goals. The first is that you have a clear understanding of our current situation. You have learned something about international developments in the process of the next 15 minutes. And we have built a slither more trust with you after you've watched this than we had before you watched this. So those are our 3 goals. So who are we? My name is Tyler Jordan. I am a managing partner and co-founder of the Nova House. I have 3 other managing partners, Derek Rush, Daniel Carvosa, and Martin Papp. And between us, we have developed tens of millions of dollars in personal real estate across 8 countries, had our hand in almost 10 billion in developments, including managing giga projects. That was Derek. Founded and scaled a Chinese tea company to over 400 locations. Hosted 47 investors from 7 different countries for investor retreats. And have done most of this from over 40 countries staying in short-term rentals. And so we came together about 2 years ago and formed the Nova House, where we build, operate, and exit luxury rentals in Costa Rica. And our fund, by the way, is strictly for accredited investors. So now that you know what this is about, you know who we are, let's get into this week's Founders Call. General updates. First is that if you watched last week's, you know that I went to TNDDA, the National Due Diligence Alliance conference in Scottsdale, Arizona. It was 110 degrees for 3 days. It was very intense, but it was an incredible, incredible conference. Just as a heads up, by the way, I have what you guys are watching, I have on a monitor over here. So if you see me keep turning away and looking to my left, it's because it's over here on my monitor. TNDDA was a huge success for us. We got up there, we spoke. I say we, I was there. Martin's currently in Singapore right now. Derek and Daniel are in Costa Rica. But it went really well. I spent about a week building out a presentation for this conference. I put a lot of work into it compared to what I usually put in to presentations. And I was very confident. And 24 hours before I went on to present, we had a full 180 change where we realized that the presentation that I built, I essentially built it for the wrong audience and it needed to be completely different. So I spent the last 4 hours, well, I started at 24 hours before, but I had to get to Scottsdale. And then in the 4 hours before the presentation, I sat in a corner room by myself, rebuilding an entire presentation. And I rebuilt it to a point where it was around 150 slides that I got through in 21 minutes. So very, very proud of myself on that one, but it went really well. We had an incredible amount of success there. We saw many investors who we've already got relationships with, many of which were very excited to see us again and also wanting to move forward. The exciting part about it is that the first time we met people at TNDDA, it was interest in our offering, but kind of hesitant. The second time we met people at ADISA in Chicago, it was a little bit more interested, but still kind of hesitant as to whether or not we're actually going to last in this space, whether we can hang around, whether we're the real deal or not. Third time lucky, we went to Scottsdale TNDDA, and it was a whole different vibe. Finally feel like we were accepted, if you will, into the IBD and RIA family office circuit. We had people immediately, almost everyone that we had kind of gotten to a point of just interest with wanted to move forward. Almost everyone, which was great. It was quite an overwhelming weekend where I was like, "Whoa, this is a big change of pace," and I'm excited. But we've got a lot of things to do before we can do that. So on that note, we had, I believe it was 18 or 20 interested parties. Of that, we've followed up with almost all of them. We have around 6 to 8 different firms who are wanting to move forward with due diligence and potential due diligence trips to Costa Rica, which is exciting. And yeah, so where we're at right now with that circuit is you get interest. From that interest, you then move into a due diligence phase where, let's say we engage with firm ABC. So we go to firm ABC and they're like, "Yep, we're interested. We want to go into due diligence." We send them our PPM, our offering documents, operating agreements, joinder agreements, subscription documents, our marketing materials, our decks, information about us, all that kind of stuff. And then once they've gone through all that due diligence, and they have decided that, yes, we do actually want to move forward with you. We actually want to, offer this to our reps, or we want to invest and allocate capital ourselves. We then sign a selling agreement. Now, that selling agreement is kind of where things really become official. So we're at a point now where we're actually moving from interested into the due diligence phase. So we are, our PPM and offering docs should be complete, finalized, and in these interested parties' hands over the next few days. And then our third-party due diligence report will be done ideally August the 5th. So, and if you've been watching this, we've been in due diligence with Buttonwood for a little while now, but that's finally coming to a head, which we'll be really excited to be able to pass that on. What else? Due diligence ongoing with Buttonwood, estimated due date of August 5th. Yes, PPM for Nova Haus Costa Rica LLC will be ready this week, potentially by Monday, Thursday, Friday / Monday was the time frame that I was given. Martin's currently in Singapore. Our email marketing campaign has begun with Scale Inbox. If you haven't heard of Scale Inbox, they're an incredible firm, or so I've heard so far. Been a great experience so far, but we've only just finished onboarding with them. They are now running split tests on different email campaigns for the Nova Haus, all approaching family offices and more institutional investors. We have confirmed our attendance for the Buttonwood Conference, August 5th through to the 8th in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So if you are out in Colorado, near the Denver, Colorado Springs area at the start of August, please let us know. I would love to catch up for a coffee. Maybe we'll grab lunch. Maybe we can duck out of this conference quickly and meet you, whatever it might be. Or if you're attending, let me know. So that will be a really good one. And the reason that'll be a good one is because the Buttonwood Conference is full of people who know and trust Buttonwood. And we're working with Buttonwood for our third-party due diligence. So there's kind of no better place to be than going direct to the source of the people that are doing their report on us. Derek and Lee Rush are taking a bit of a step forward on the Costa Rica development side, sort of we're integrating them into all of our conversations and threads and relationships with the designers, the architects, the builders, the permittings, the legals. We're kind of integrating them into everything so that they can begin to help us take control of that arm of the development side, so that we can sort of start shifting towards the amount of effort that is required to raise capital. Currently, we're trying to juggle far too many balls, and it's yielding us the results that you would expect. So that is awesome. I'm really excited for that. Current Nova Haus investors, please, if you haven't already gone and checked your letterbox, I would recommend going and checking it. And if you don't see anything in there from us, please keep an eye out over the next couple of days. I have sent you out a little something from us. That includes managing partners as well in Costa Rica. So keep an eye out for yourself as well. August investor due diligence trips. We will be in Costa Rica. We've got multiple people interested from around the 10th of August through to the end of August for due diligence trips. Some people want some weekends, some want others. So we're trying to manage schedules right now, but it's looking like we will potentially be there for around 2 to 3 weeks through the mid and end of August. So if you are somebody who is looking to invest into the Nova Haus, or you're invested and you want to double down or triple down, please let us know and we'll get you booked in for an investor trip and get you down there. You get to meet the team, get to meet the, get to go and see the sites, see who we're working with, understand the culture. And then also you get to meet other firms and other individuals who are backing the Nova Haus to really understand what kind of demographic, we are targeting, what we're building, and the type of people that we are backed by. So yes. Couple little pictures here. This is from Scottsdale, TNDDA. That was from the actual event space. That's the conference room where we actually gave our pitches and our speeches. Quick little. We are a company that develops, owns, and operates luxury villas that are designed to be experiences rather than stays. These places are 6 to 12 bedrooms. They're highly amenitized. They are architecturally incomparable to anything. A little bit of me. And just sort of showing the conference room. So it was a fairly small event compared to a lot of these conferences, but it was a very intimate event. It was great because we actually really got to spend time with one another, build those relationships, understand one another's motives and products and ethics and, you know, all of that good stuff. We also started filming ads for social media. Me and Martin have been filming a ton over the last couple of weeks. This is a blooper that I giggled at, and I thought, why not? Let's put in there. Help a We have hundreds of takes, and I promise you that majority of the takes are just this. It's just us fumbling, and you don't realize how hard to do clips and to do ads until you start filming it. If you haven't already checked it out, go to Puri's website, or you can go to our website or our due diligence, our data room, and you can find the 3D walkthrough of our Manuel Antonio property. Puri Lighting has put this together. It is a day, night, fully 3D walkthrough of the property where you can switch it between days, nights, and this is as realistic as it gets. This is the way the lighting is going to be set up. There needs to be a few small changes with furniture and things like that, but you really get to go through the whole property and see for yourself the beauty and the magnitude of this place. So jump into that link and have a look if you haven't already. Otherwise, ooh, my apologies. We cut out there for a little bit. Let's move on to the next one. Property development. We're pretty stagnant here for the property development. Our water letter is kind of the holdup right now. As you can see here, I visited IA today. They told me the water letter is already done. I'm waiting for a review from the engineer. Once it is reviewed, we'll be notified. We will be notified. That was last week. And then just yesterday, Sophia went into the IA and they told her that it will possibly be ready next week. So it's frustrating to be waiting on the municipality to just, they've already seen and approved our water letter. It's just got to be checked by the engineer and sent off. So we're waiting on that to be able to move to the next steps. We keep apologize, guys. We're starting to I'm going to change softwares after this week because this happens every week. Well, it seems to happen every week. So I'll try and run through quickly. Over the last 14 days, we have got the IDD and ODD reviews from Buttonwood, and we're working closely with them to get to that final report. The TNDDA event was fantastic. Really, really happy with how that went. We've had multiple investors eager to move into due diligence with us. We're now waiting on the offering docs of ours to be complete to be able to move into that stage with them. We have confirmed our attendance and are preparing for the Buttonwood conference in Colorado. And we have began getting feedback from Buttonwood on our reporting that we need to work on, which is great. Over the next 14 days, what you're going to see from us, what you can expect from us is to, as we just spoke about, be in Colorado for the Buttonwood conference. Our bidding is going to begin on the Manuel Antonio property with the final construction plans. We will be getting the due diligence report completed and sent out to all interested parties. So those of you from the IBD, RIA space, if you are waiting on due diligence materials, please hold with us. It'll be coming up shortly. PPM will be sent out to all interested parties, hopefully by tomorrow or Monday. And then our financial modeling completed at both the property level and the fund level. Thought of the week. Borders are an imaginary box. One of the biggest objections that we get and the things that we have to overcome is the fact that we develop in Costa Rica, which is in a different country to, obviously, the USA. And myself, Martin, and Derek have all developed properties in different countries around the world. We've developed in 8 countries. And That's also not including states, multiple states within each of those countries. And for us, we know that borders are typically not a physical wall where worlds change. They're merely just an imaginary but commonly agreed upon line. So going from California into Arizona, nothing happens. You just pass a sign that says "Welcome to Arizona." It's the same when you land in another country or whether you cross a different state border, whatever it might be. People tend to think without thinking too much about it. Their initial reaction is, if it's in a different state or a different country, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different world. So for instance, people might say, oh, I invest in California, but there's no way I would ever invest in Ohio because it's too far away. I don't know anything about it. It's the same thing. It's no different. It's just the distance it is from where you are right this minute. And the breakdown, there's no data behind this, by the way. This is just my data that I believe from my experience, is that when you go elsewhere, particularly in another country, around 70% of life is the same. We're all eating similar foods. We're all drinking water. We're all living in some kind of housing that typically has 4 walls and a roof. Housing, resorts, hotel rooms, Airbnbs, all these kinds of things are all very, very, very similar, 90% similar. Transport's the same. We're all driving cars and trucks and motor. People are the same. We all have very similar missions and values, and we're driving towards things, and we all work, and we all, love hanging out with family. 70% of life is the same. Now, the differences here is that I think that there's, out of the remaining 30% difference, 20% is cultural, meaning the languages might be different, the accents might be different from state to state, the rituals and the norms of the way that people live might be a little different, the music might be a little different. But even still, they're slight differences and they're cultural differences. Now, the part here that people throw their hands up and throw their arms up and they're like, it's too risky. This is the craziest thing ever. I don't know anything about it. I'm scared. It's a gamble, is 10%. And 10% of the differences are legal, actual hard differences. And those are things like maybe different laws. The laws in Switzerland are going to be very different to the laws in Samoa. And the laws in Africa are going to be very different to the laws in, Alaska, wherever it might be. You know what I mean? The building codes, the regulations are going to be slightly different. The documents that you need to get and the way that you get the documents, or the process or the order of getting documents might be a little bit different. The way that you pay taxes or the tax rates or whatever it might be slightly different country to country, state to state. But I say all of this to say that our initial reaction to developing or investing into places that aren't within a 1 mile radius from us, the initial reaction is craziness. Wow, that's so risky. It's so wild. Yet in reality, nothing really changes. The people change, the accents change. There's, slight differences here and there, but everything is near enough the same. Still investing. The goal is still to make money, to provide an exceptional service, to work with great people, to build or create a great product. Transport's the same. People, everything's near enough the same. Don't overcomplicate something that is super simple. So that's my thought of the week. Borders are an imaginary box. Last one here is opportunities. If you are interested in the Nova House in any way, shape, or form, whether you would like to be an investor, whether you would like to join the team, whether you know somebody who might like to be involved, whether you want to refer somebody, whether you have a tip for us, maybe you want to reach out and just tell me how much you dislike me or how much you love me. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, please get in contact with us. You can book an appointment straight from the bio in my LinkedIn. You can invest without ever having to talk to me if you don't wish, or any of us for that matter, through our investor portal, which is on our website, www.thenovahouse.com. And then we also do webinars on LinkedIn every single month. So the next webinar will be August the 20th. This one here hasn't been updated, but it will be August the 20th. We get, depending, sometimes between 3 to 10 individuals who show up live. However, our attendance rate of those who are watching the recordings of these is quite substantial. And you can see there, I mean, we've got 150 people typically sign up to attend these. We get around 75 individuals that are actually watching these after the fact. The goal of those webinars, by the way, is to educate rather than sell. So we're trying to educate people on how to do things themselves, different things that we're noticing or trends or whatever it might be. Outside of that, I hope that you be great. I hope that you have an incredible week. I know it's Thursday. You've got one day left of the weekend if you're a 9-to-5er. And if you're not a 9-to-5er, happy Thursday, just another day of the week. But I hope that you do something that challenges you this week. I hope that you lean into who you are, the way that you are, and the way that lights you on fire. And that is something that I'm really trying to do each and every week, and not conform to the industry norms, which is, you know, suit and tie and data and numbers and structure and overload of information that doesn't make sense, and all those fun bits and pieces. Make enthusiasm great again. Be great, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.